first we will see what is E1 reaction, E1 elimination. So E1 elimination, as I told you, it is similar to SN1. Therefore, that means it takes place in two steps. It takes place in two steps. The first step being the formation of the carbocation from the alkyl halide, and that carbocation. So this will be the slowest step, and therefore that will be the rate determining step, a formation of the carbocation. Since the carbocation formation is the rate determining step of this reaction, this carbocation has to be stabilized by any of the various effects like resonance, hyperconjugation, 1,2 hydride shift, or ring expansion, or inductive effect, or aromaticity, like that. So any of these effects can operate to stabilize the carbocation that is formed, and then only the base is going to abstract the beta proton to form the alkene. Therefore, rearrangement is one of the essential criteria. So you have to remember this. Rearrangement takes place here. One of the features is, first feature is this is the second feature. First feature is the formation of the carbocation. It takes place in two steps, and the second step is the attack of the carbocation will be attacked by the base to form the whatever the alkene, whatever the nature of the R group, you will be having the alkene group that is getting formed here with the elimination of the hydronium ion, or that whatever we have taken in that. So the first point is it takes place in two steps. So the second point is that the carbocation stability is important. Therefore, rearrangement of carbocation is one of the major feature of E1. So this differentiates the E1 from E2. Rearrangement of carbocation takes place. So if you look at the mechanism in bit, it will say, for example, if you take, say, Me, Me, and if you have Cl. So the first step will be the reversible step. Usually the rate determining step will be the slowest step, and therefore this can be a reversible step. Rate determining step RDS. You have the formation of the carbocation, tertiary butyl carbocation formed here, plus Cl minus. So this carbocation will be attacked by the base to form. The base will abstract the beta proton. Say, for example, if you take this proton as the beta proton, there are three beta protons you have. So you have, this is beta 1, this is beta 2, this is beta 3. You have three beta protons. So abstraction of this beta proton by the base will form. So you have B minus and H plus, and therefore the electrons from this bond will be shifted to this carbon. It will develop a negative charge. Whenever you have a plus and minus present in the adjacent carbon, it means a bond will be formed in that. So plus sign means a empty orbital, minus sign means a filled orbital. Therefore a bond will be formed in this. Like this. So you get an alkene that is formed here. Say that is isobutylene, or 2-methylpropene. 2-methylpropene will be formed in this reaction. So the rearrangement is an important step on the stabilization of the carbocation is an important step. So it has been observed experimentally when they did the experiment using this tertiary butyl chloride in the presence of a base. When they doubled the concentration of this tertiary butyl chloride, when they doubled the concentration of this tertiary butyl chloride, the rate was found to be doubled. So initially, if you have 1, when the rate, suppose if this is R1, when the concentration is doubled 2 times, so when the concentration of the tertiary butyl chloride is doubled 2 times, it becomes 2R. So it became 2R. Therefore it was decided that the rate of the reaction was found to be proportional. But when the rate of the base is increased, when the rate of the base is doubled, the rate did not change. Therefore the rate of the reaction was found to be dependent only upon the tertiary butyl chloride, that is the halide, alkyl halide, and therefore it was found to be a first order reaction, and therefore it was a and since the rate determining step involves only one molecule and the formation of the carbocation is the deciding factor of the formation of the alkene, therefore this is found to be a unimolecular reaction also. First order kinetics with the unimolecular reaction. So this is the mechanism of the E1 elimination, which is stabilized by the, which is considered or stabilized by the stability of the carbocation. Stability of the carbocation. Suppose when there are two products are formed in an alkene, as I told you in the beginning, when the stability of the alkene is more important. Say for example, if you consider alkene like this, so you have an Me, then we'll take a crowded Me, we'll take a, so that we have another Me here, and then you can take a Br here. Okay, so now you can have this. So you have now this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3, and this is 4. So now you have 2 bromo. You call this as 2 bromo, 2 methyl, 2 bromo, 2 methyl butane, 2 bromo, 2 methyl butane. So a bit a branched carbon that we have taken. Suppose if you add a base OH minus, then you will have, depending upon the beta carbon. So this is the alpha carbon. So here you have a beta 1, here you will have beta 2, and here you have the beta 3. So the hydrogen from any of these 3 carbons can be removed. So when you remove these carbons from, suppose if you remove from beta 1, you will have the product that is formed is Me. You draw the same structure. Br minus will go out, and the H plus will come out. Dehydrohalogenation, I told you. H from here will go out, and this will develop a negative charge, and this will then, since the Br has taken this electron, and this will develop a positive charge. Therefore you will have, here you will have the Me, here you will have the Me, here the double bond will be formed here. So this is arising due to beta 1 hydrogen getting eliminated by this. Suppose if you take beta 2 is getting eliminated. So again you draw the same Me, and then you draw this here. If you remove this hydrogen, then this H plus and this H plus and this Br minus will go together, and therefore a bond will be formed here. So you will have CH2, and then you will have the Me. Now if you look at these two compounds, now if you number these compounds, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so here also if you number 1, 2, 3, 4, that means this is also 2 methyl butene, and if you look at this also, this is also 2 methyl butene. So essentially if you remove the proton from beta 1 and beta 2 position, it gives you the same product. So we write it only once, so we don't have to bother about that. Beta 1 and 2 will give you the same reaction. So beta 1 and beta 2 will give you the same product. Now we will look at the beta 3 that is formed. So if you remove from beta 3 this proton, then you will have Me that is there, and then here, then you draw the first structure so that you can put the double bond later. So the Br minus is gone, and this proton is gone. Therefore the electron present in this bond will go to this position, and this Br minus will develop a carbocation here. So when you have a minus and plus present in the adjacent carbon atom here, your alkene bond will be formed here. Okay, so this is another alkene that is formed here. Now if you look at these two alkene very closely, the one which is more substituted will be the major product. So here if you see this carbocation, now if you look at this double bond, now here you have 3 alpha hydrogen, here you have 3 alpha hydrogen, and here you have 3 alpha hydrogen. So this is more stabilized by hyperconjugation arising due to 9 alpha hydrogen here, 9 alpha hydrogen in this alkene. Whereas if you look at this alkene, in this alkene if you see, so there is only Here you will have only, it's not Me actually, this is CH2. So this will be CH2, this will be CH2. So here if you see this, here you will have 3 alpha hydrogen and here you will have 1 hydrogen. So you have, here you will have 2 alpha hydrogen. 2 alpha hydrogen you have. So this is hyperconjugation stabilized arising due to 5 alpha hydrogens. Therefore, suppose if you number this structure as 1 and this structure as 2. So structure 1 is less stable than structure 2 due to hyperconjugation by more number of alpha hydrogen atoms. So therefore, this will be a minor product. This will be a minor product, say some 25% or something like that will be formed, and this will be the major product. So this is governed by the 2 rules as I said before, that is the Zaitsev rule and the Hofmann's rule. So when 2 elimination products are formed in, like in this case, when two products can be formed, the major product is the one that by the Zaitsev rule, Zaitsev rule, it says that the more substituted alkene is the more stabilized by hyperconjugation, so that will be formed in this reaction. So this is the next point in the E1 reaction mechanism. And the next point here in the E1 mechanism, E1 reaction is in the first step of the SN1 that we know that carbocation is formed as an intermediate. Therefore, now since the carbocation is formed, now the carbocation can be attacked by the nucleophile or it can be attacked by a base. So if the nucleophile attacks, you get a substitution reaction. If the base attacks, it forms an elimination. Say for example, if you take the same compound like tertiary butyl chloride. Suppose you have in the first step RDS, that is the slow step, that is the formation of the carbocation. So you have Me3C+. Me3C+ is formed, plus Cl- is formed. This tertiary carbocation. This tertiary carbocation can undergo 2 reactions as I told you. Suppose if the OH- is a nucleophile, then you will have the substitution nucleophilic unimolecular reaction will take place and you get a Me3COH, a tertiary butanol will be formed as a product. But when you add a base, elimination will take place. E1 will take place. When the E1 takes place, then you have the formation of the alkene will be formed in this position. I suppose you can make out this here. So you have the Cl- will go out here. One of the hydrogen will come out as H+, and this will go out as Cl-. So this will take the minus charge. This will get the plus charge. So you will get a bond here. Bond will be formed here. So you have Me C double bond CH2. Me double C double bond CH2 will be formed as a product here. So now whether the reaction will proceed in the elimination direction or whether the reaction will be proceeding in the substitution direction is decided by certain factors like say temperature, solvent polarity, because we know that in the SN1 reaction solvent polarity plays a major role in stabilizing the carbocation. Therefore, these factors decides the whether the strength of the base Of course, in SN1 reaction and the E1 mechanism, strength of the base doesn't really matter because these 2 reactions, E1 and SN1, depends only on the formation and the stabilization of the carbocation. Therefore, once the carbocation is formed and stabilized, it doesn't matter whether the base is strong or weak. It will go and attack the carbocation and abstract the beta proton to form the corresponding alkene. Okay, so now if you take a specific example, dehydration of alcohols, we have the acid catalyzed dehydration, ACD, acid catalyzed dehydration. Acid catalyzed dehydration by say sulfuric acid. We know that sulfuric acid is a good dehydrating agent. Suppose you take the tertiary butanol, Me and OH, you have the tertiary butanol. and if you add, say, the dilute sulfuric acid, now this dilute sulfuric acid, this alcohol can be considered as a weak acid and sulfuric acid is a strong acid. Whenever a system contains two acids, the stronger one will protonate the weaker one. That means the proton generated from the sulfuric acid will go and attack this and form the OH2 minus. So it will protonated alcohol will be formed. So you have the MeCme. This proton that is generated is an electrophile. It needs electron. So oxygen has got two lone pairs of the electrons. Oxygen will try to form a coordinate bond to form this. So it will form OH2. Since oxygen has lost its pair of electron, it will develop a positive charge. Oxygen being the second most electronegative element, it cannot hold the positive charge. Therefore, it will break this bond, because the other two bonds from the hydrogen cannot be broken, because that will lead to the formation of the same product again, tertiary butanol. Therefore, this bond breaks. So once this bond breaks, the carbocation will be formed here. The tertiary butyl carbocation will be formed in this reaction. So this tertiary butyl carbocation, now if I separate the beta proton for better understanding, suppose if this is alpha, this is beta. So you have beta 1, you have beta 2, and you have beta 3. Suppose if this proton is getting abstracted as H plus, then this will go to this carbon as we have seen before. So this will develop a minus charge when minus and plus present adjacent together. So you will have this alkene that is getting formed here. So Me double bond CH2 will be formed here. Now protonation of this alcohol, when this protonation takes place, this CO bond becomes weak here. So the CO bond becomes weak. Why it becomes weak? As I told you before, oxygen will since it is developing a positive charge, it will try to break this bond, being a more electronegative element than carbon. So this bond becomes weak due to the protonation of the alcohol, so which then removes the proton to form a stable alkene. After the carbocation is formed, it forms a stable alkene. Now the concentration of the acid that we take here, it depends upon the stability of the carbocation. That means a primary alcohol will give you an unstable carbocation, because if you take, say, RCH2OH, so we know that the carbocation stability, suppose if this bond is broken by OH2, then this will develop a primary carbocation. We know that the stability of the carbocation is in this order. Primary will be less stable than secondary, will be less stable than tertiary, and that's so you have 0 degree will be less stable like this. Carbocation stability is like this. Therefore, primary alcohol will give you an unstable carbocation. Therefore, it requires high temperature. So this requires a high temperature, very high temperature, and a high concentration of acid. Increased concentration of acid is required for the abstraction of the proton, so that it can hold the proton and remove it as a water molecule, so that the alkene will be formed, whereas a tertiary alcohol requires a low temperature. So if you take a tertiary alcohol here, we can see here it takes a less temperature and it requires lower concentration of the acid to form the corresponding alkene. So this is the next feature that you need to remember. Say around 350 Kelvin or 360 Kelvin itself, the reaction will take place in the case of a tertiary alcohol. It will be formed here. Okay. So that is the next point regarding elimination. The next point is the reactivity order. How does the stability of the carbocation? So the reactivity order will be, I'll just summarize the reactivity stabilized through various effects. Okay. So the greater the stability of carbocation, more reactive alkyl halide, better will be the E1 reaction, because since E1 is dependent upon the formation of the carbocation. So increased stability means increased E1 reaction. Okay. So now we know how the carbocation will be. Suppose if we take the tertiary benzylic carbocation. So you have the 3-phenyl group that is present in the surrounding this carbocation, which so you have all the 3 benzene rings can stabilize this carbocation through extensive resonance. So this is the most stable carbocation. This is on almost equal with the tertiary allylic in the case of an aliphatic alkyl halide. This is aromatic, so you have the aliphatic alkyl halide stabilized by the carbocation. Suppose you have this allylic type. So here you have this carbocation that is formed. So this is more stabilized. It's almost on comparable with this. So there will be a slight difference based on the number of resonance structures that is formed. Greater the number of resonance structures that is formed, greater will be the stability of the carbocation and hence more reactivity of the E1 reaction. So this will have a more reactivity when compared to the secondary benzylic carbocation. So which means R, that is PH2CH plus. PH2. So you know what is benzylic means. Benzylic means you have a phenyl ring with the CH2 group. That is C6H5. CH2 is called as benzylic. Many students get confused between benzylic and phenylic. Phenylic is C6H5. C6H5. So this is phenylic carbocation, which is highly unstable. Whereas this is benzylic carbocation, which is, so the carbocation obtained from benzene is not benzylic, it is phenylic. The carbocation obtained from C6H5CH2 only is called as benzylic. So this is benzylic. So many students get confused between these two. So please make a note of this and remember that. But once you practice, you will know it and remember it. So secondary benzylic carbocation will be more stable and again as comparable to secondary allylic carbocation, which again will be stabilized through resonance. You have RCH plus and then you have CH double bond CH2. This is a secondary allylic, which is almost on comparable. Again, this is comparables between secondary and primary. Between secondary and primary, not much difference, although there is a slight difference in the reactivity of E1 reaction due to the presence of more stabilizing resonance structures, but it is comparable. So you have the primary benzylic carbocation that is formed, that is PHCH2 allylic and comparable. So this will be comparable to primary allylic. So primary allylic will be having R, that is no R, so it is CH2 again here, CH2 plus and CH double bond CH2 allylic. So this is an allylic group. So now this is again almost comparable to that of the tertiary carbocation, R3C plus, tertiary carbocation. So primary benzylic and primary allylic and tertiary carbocation are almost comparable elimination reaction rate. Although there may be a slight difference, not much significant difference. So this will have more reactivity when compared to secondary. So this is a tertiary carbocation. This is a secondary carbocation, that is R2CH plus, secondary carbocation R2CH plus when compared to primary carbocation, that is RCH2 plus, RCH2 plus and compared to vinyl carbocation, which is the least stable carbocation. So that is CH plus double bond. This is vinyl can be compared to the phenyl carbocation. So these two are highly unstable. So therefore this will never lead to the formation of the product here. Okay, so that is the next point regarding the elimination. So as I told you, elimination reaction has got many features which we have to keep it in mind in predicting the product, because unless we know that whether a particular reaction goes via E1 mechanism or E2 mechanism and following these conditions, there will be a slight difference in the product that is formed. So generally in board exam it won't be a problem, you will be asked simple questions, but in JEE and NEET you may get unless you remember all the points, the questions that are asked will be a little bit difficult to answer, because you have to know exactly which product will be formed due to elimination. Okay, and the next point regarding the elimination is the rearrangement. Since the carbocation stability is carbocation stability is the deciding factor for the elimination reaction, rearrangement becomes important. Sir, therefore carbocation has to be stabilized. Say for example, if you take a let me take a highly good stable carbocation that can be formed, C. So you have C, you have an Ne, you have say CH, and then you have a Br, and here you can take an methyl group and you can have a methyl group. So we can have a better stabilized so you will have, say for example, numbering to do 1 2 3 4. So when the ring contains a side chain with a functional group, that will be the parent compound. Therefore this will be called as 2 bromo 3 methyl 2 bromo 3 methyl and 3 phenyl 3 methyl 3 phenyl butane 3 phenyl butane. Okay, so you have to know this compound. So you add a base MEOH, alcoholic OH minus will be a base. So what will be here, as I told you, Br will go out as Br minus, and this will take up this electron, and the beta proton has to be abstracted. First the carbocation will be formed. So you have the pH C Me, and then CH is formed with Me. This carbocation is formed. So now this carbocation is formed here. Now this is a secondary carbocation. As I told you, carbocation stability is important. It will take place through one of the effects that I have mentioned there. One of the effects that you know, for those of you who are not familiar with my carbocation stability, please watch my video on carbocations. There I have explained in detail how the carbocation can be stabilized, how a primary will become secondary and secondary will become a tertiary, etc. How does it take place? Here it takes place through 1,2 methyl shift. 1,2 methyl shift. So what happens essentially is this will take up the minus charge and this will attack this carbon. Therefore what will happen here? So you will have the pH and the C and the Me. This carbon here, the methyl group will come and get attached. Here you have the another methyl group. Since this carbon has lost its electron to this methyl group, this will develop a positive charge here. Now you can see that this is a tertiary carbocation which is more stable than the secondary carbocation. So after this stabilization takes place here, then the abstraction of the beta proton will take place. So now beta proton will be here, you have beta 1, here you will have beta 2. So from the ring it will not be possible to take out the electron because it will destroy the aromaticity of the ring. Therefore from the phenyl group, proton cannot be abstracted. Therefore only from beta 1 and beta 2 can be abstracted. So if you remove beta 1 and beta 2, you see which one is the more stable, the alkene that can be formed here. So you have the pH C. If you remove it from the beta 1, then you will have this methyl group. So you have the C, you have this Me here that is formed. Me here, this will be the one product if it is removed from the beta 1. So this is from beta 1. If you remove the beta 1 hydrogen, it will be formed. Suppose if you remove it from beta 2, so what will be the product? Plus say pH C and CH, you have methyl group and the methyl group that is formed here. Here you will have the double bond CH2. So this is arising due to beta 2 hydrogen. Beta 2 hydrogen being abstracted by the base, this will form a product. So now you can see that this is a less substituted alkene and this is a more substituted alkene. So this is more stable. This will be the major product that is formed, more stabilized by the say 9 alpha carbon atom. Here it is only 1 alpha carbon or 1 R, because phenyl proton will not be able to contribute to the hyperconjugation to this. Only this proton can contribute. Therefore this will be the most stable product that will be formed in this reaction. Okay, so that is the next aspect of the stabilization of the carbocation. As I told you, I just want you to give an example on how does this reaction take place. Okay, so that is the next point regarding the elimination. How does the stabilization of the carbocation plays a role in this? And then as we have seen in the nucleophilic reaction, the leaving group ability, LG, leaving group ability. So we know that the bulkier the group, greater is the leaving capacity, and therefore better will be the formation of the carbocation, and therefore better will be the E1 reaction. So the leavability of this X minus is indirectly related to its basicity. We know that a weaker base will have a better leaving group and stronger base will have a, or the weakest base will be the best leaving group. So this will be the weak base, this will be the weakest base, and which is a better leaving group, and so on. So suppose if you, therefore if you compare a compound like this, so if you take Me3Ci, so this will have a better leaving ability and to form a better stable carbocation when compared to Me3CBr, when compared to Me3Cl, when compared to Me3CF. Me3CF. So the order of reactivity of the E1 will be based on the leaving group effect. Okay, so these are the most important points, and the next one important point here is the effect of base. So we know, we have seen that the base doesn't play a much role in that, because the E1 reaction is dependent upon the formation of the carbocation and the stabilization of the carbocation. So therefore, if you have, if the base is stronger or more concentrated, then essentially if you see, if the base is strong, suppose you have a weak base and a strong base, weak base and a strong base. So when the base is strong, there will be a simultaneous subtraction of the H plus and the Br minus, which means E2 mechanism will play. I will explain in the next video on how the E2 mechanism works. It's something similar to the SN2 reaction, and if the base is weak, then SN1 reaction will prepare, because SN1 proceeds via carbocation stabilization. Therefore a weak base will favor an SN1 reaction, because it doesn't matter whether the base is strong or weak. SN1 depends upon the carbocation stabilization. Therefore a weak base will favor a SN1 reaction and a strong base will favor an SN. So what is the point, sir, here? Means it means carbocation rearrangement is essential conditions. If you look at a weak base, then you have to think that it is E1 reaction, and therefore you have to stabilize the carbocation before removing the proton. If you look at a strong base, then you have to then you don't have to do, then you should not do the carbocation rearrangement. So carbocation rearrangement is the differentiating factor, is the differentiating factor between the strong and the weak base. So you have to keep it in mind, because the product will change accordingly. Okay, then suppose if you have there is something called as solvent effect. We have seen like SN1. If you have a strong polar solvent, so solvent will have polar protic solvent, polar aprotic solvent, and followed by non-polar solvent. So the order of E1 reactivity comparable to SN1 reaction will be based like this. So if you should know, the list of polar protic solvent will be water, methanol, all alcohols will be polar protic solvent. Polar aprotic solvent will be, say, DMSO, DMF, dimethyl formamide, dimethyl sulfoxide, etc. Non-polar solvents will be, say, benzene, carbon tetrachloride, carbon disulfide, petrol, kerosene, diesel. All these things will be a non-polar solvents. So these things will be all organic solvents like this will be more non-polar in nature. So a polar protic solvent will favor the formation of a better E1 reaction when compared to the other two types of solvents. Then the next point, there are many factors like electrophilic catalysis. So when you add an electrophile to a elimination reaction, that will catalyze the formation of the elimination. Say for example, if you take, say, Me3Cl, tertiary methyl chloride, if you add a silver acts as a very good electrophile. So this will try to abstract this chlorine here. So this will abstract. So the removal of the leaving group is facilitated by the presence of an electrophile like, say, Ag+. Therefore AgCl, that is, removes this and facilitates the formation of Me3C+. So if you have to look at you have to identify the reaction by looking at the reagent. So whenever you look at an electrophile added to an alkyl halide like this, that means the electrophile is going to remove the leaving group better, and therefore better formation of the carbocation, and therefore the better E1 reaction will take place. Now if you add the base to this, you will get the formation of the corresponding the CX reaction. It favors the formation of the product that is going to be formed in this reaction. So catalysis is a very important step. Okay, so just to summarize whatever we have seen, what are the conditions? E1 reaction. So E1 reaction can be facilitated by say you have the branching. More substituted alkene will be the mares branching at alpha and beta carbon, which will facilitate to give a stable alkene. Okay, stable alkene. Then second one is strong polar solvents. Strong polar protic solvent will favor the ionization of RX to form carbocation. Therefore, strong polar solvents is another condition which is required for the E1 reaction. And a better leaving group. A good leaving group means I minus, means it's a better E1 reaction when compared to F minus or Cl minus. So this will favor the the low concentration and a weak base will facilitate the E1 reaction, because if it is a strong base, then E2 will prevail over E1 and there is no carbocation rearrangement will be there. And lastly, the electrophilic catalysis that takes place, which will again facilitate the formation of electrophilic catalysis, which will facilitate the formation of carbocation formation. Therefore, that will also facilitate the E1 reaction. Okay, so this is just to summarize what is the various features of the E1 reaction. Okay, E1 is again a two-step reaction. The first step being the carbocation stabilization, second step being the base abstraction of proton, and these are the factors which facilitate the formation of the alkene product by the E1 mechanism. Okay, so in my next video I will teach you about E2 mechanism, and then we will do some exercises on that. So we'll meet in the next video.